members now with TriBeCa. I think Google has heard it. So the question is, what is the evolution? You have been seeing the change in this particular segment over the years. What's your take on that? And also, TriBeCa has been handling a lot of NRI Bengali families, right? What are the changes which are happening in that aspect? If you can highlight a little bit of, you people do fantastic, the non-medical services, like taking them to different, travel tours, and that segment is also so important. So if you can highlight that aspect and the evolution of it, how it's growing in that part.
Very good. So thank you, Ananda, and thank you, FICCI. I've been sitting here and listening to everyone, and it's always difficult to be almost the last person to speak, because once everyone has spoken, there is very little to say. However, I was one of the first persons to get into this field in 2012, right? And there were very, very few companies at that time. And when I started this, it was from a very private moment in which I had that anxiety as an NRI sitting in London, wondering what's going to happen to my mother if she fell, right? And when I came in very naively saying that, let us go back, I and my partner, let's go back and try to do something in this space, we had no clue, zero clue about what this entails, right? And I think the learning and the evolution that you talk about, the very fact that, and again I was telling Rajgopal right now, is that a forum like this did not exist 12 years back. Today it does. At that time we were tucked away at the back of a hospital healthcare seminar, and we were right at the back. And today we are actually, there are people like Rajgopal heading Asli and actually talking about it, right? So I think we have come a long way in terms of an industry. And I use the word industry, right? It's very easy to say elder care is welfare, elder care is something else. But unless you actually treat it like a business, an infrastructure that, I think Dhiresh was trying to say in terms of people and so on, that unless you try to say that regulation should be there, people should be trained, there should be structures of career growth for them, GST problems that again Rajgopal was saying, unless we sort of think about it in those terms, the industry can't grow. And what I've seen over the last 10, 12 years that I've been here from an evolution standpoint is that there are different things that are happening, right? So different companies have come in, they look at the same problem through different lenses. I look at it from a very, very home care lens, a very, very elder care at-home lens. There'll be someone like Dr. Talukdar who look at it from a very geriatric doctor perspective. Nilanjana looks at it from a dementia perspective. Rajgopal looks at it from infrastructure in senior living perspective. And with all of these different things that we have done, we are still scratching the surface. There is still so much to do. It is amazing, right? Senior travel, we try to do senior travel 1 trip a month is what we try to take people to Benares, to usually the Tirth Sthans and all of that. But once you do that, there is joy in the person who is going, because that is something that he or she wanted to do. And often cases I've seen that, as long as the husband was there and they were carers for the husband when they're 75, and now the husband has died, unfortunately. But suddenly this lady has found a newfound life where she's not been a carer for about 3, 4, 5 years, and is now saying, I want to go out and travel. And then when she does go out and travel, she needs someone to hold her hand, right? So I think there are different ways to, again, skin this beast. And everyone is finding their little niches, right? Amway is finding a different niche and trying to figure out how to actually do it. The evolution will keep on happening, but at the core of it lies the dignity, lies the ability of people to want to live their lives in the best possible way, and it's going to happen to you and me and everyone else. So when we talk about what we call DME products like wheelchairs, oxygen concentrators, those are some things that we sort of understand as durable medical equipment. The way that at least I look at it is slightly different, right? So for a kid, when they're actually coming up, right, they have no skills, they're babies, their parents actually give them a lot of support to make them into adults. And the role of a parent over a period of time is to take away the support so that when they are 18 years old, they can walk the streets by themselves. I think giving them support as a child and then taking it away is a very, very common thing that we do as parents, and we understand it. On the other side, as a person is declining, right, from 60 to 70 to 80, what's really happening is the reverse of the child, where you need a lot more support as they're getting older. And we really don't have a very strong way of giving them that support at every given step, right? So when they're 70, they may need a walking stick. They may need a knee brace because their knee is giving away. We understand that. But when they're 75, they need a little more. When they're 80, they need a little more. When the cognitive problems happen, they need a different type of infrastructure that you need to give them, which we in TriBeCa call it TriBeCa life systems. And the reason is because we think that these life systems is giving them the support, the structural framework to live their lives. And the structural frameworks could be in terms of money. How do you manage money when you're 80 and you can't really sign the check, right? How do you take money out of your equity and make it into something that you're going to pay, which the LIC gentleman was probably talking about in a different way? What do you do when they can't talk to anyone and the infrastructure is going to be Nilanjana's, what did he call it? The dementia centers. So I think the ability for different people to come in, whether it's PPP, whether it is private, whether it's government, to understand that there is regulatory needs that are there, and at the same time there is infrastructure need that we have to give as a society that will allow people and give them the support till the time that they live, right? Now, whenever we talk about healthcare and life, what's that, health span and lifespan, and as Dhiresh says, we want to collapse that as little as possible so that, as long as you're alive, the health is good. However, the last few years, whether it's 2 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is going to be a sharp decline, because we all will fall down the precipice towards death, right? Some people are lucky and it's like, in a shot. Some people it's a decade, but that's going to happen to most of us, and we need to be prepared for it, and we need to understand it and have people around us who understand it when we are the most vulnerable. And I think a company like TriBeCa, what we are trying to do is look at all those different phases of someone's life and then saying, can I give them that little support, which could be tiny in the beginning but more at the end, and can we give that support to people? So that's essentially what we think.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pradeep.